Hey everyone, this is Simon from Revit Uni, and today I would like to show you how to select objects in Revit. But I will not just focus on the basic stuff, I will dive deep into this topic, so stay with me, and if you like this video, subscribe to my channel and leave a thumbs up. You probably already know how to select basic objects in Revit. It's done by clicking on it. We did that constantly in the previous videos. So yeah, that's the first method, but I didn't show you how to add to the selection. We will use the Control on your keyboard. You can see that next to the cursor mouse, you see a small plus sign. It means that it's adding to the selection, you see. And if I want to subtract, I press Shift. I keep it pressed all the time and unclick objects. That's the first method. Of course, when I select something, it highlights its properties in the properties window. So I can read the category of that object and other stuff. So if I select multiple categories, I have information that multiple categories is selected. And if I go through this list, I can access individual objects that are in this selection with the number in the brackets signifying the number of elements that are in this selection. Okay, so remember that, Control and Shift. Second method is by using a frame. If I press my mouse button and start to draw a rectangle, you see that I can select multiple objects. This way I can, for example, select entire project very quickly. The direction in which you are drawing this rectangle matters. So if I'm drawing it from left to right, the entire item must be inside this frame. Pay attention to this tree. Similarly here. Okay, let me try again to select only this windmill. Okay, you see, if I drew from left to right, I just have to select entire item. If I drew from right to left, only part of the frame need to touch the element in order to select it. So this is a stronger method. Before I progress with other things that I would like to discuss in this video, let me give you a small side note. So you see that when I hover my mouse, I have something called pre-selection. This element is highlighted, the edges of this element are blue. When I select it, it becomes filled with blue color, so it's actually selected. So this is important part of selection. And when I zoom in, sometimes there is a great density of objects in this area, and it's hard to select something just by hovering mouse in the correct spot. That's why we also have a tab key on your keyboard that allows us to toggle between the selection when you are in such dense environment, let's say. So I hover my mouse and now click tab. You see multiple elements highlight. Let's say I want to select this panel, so I click. Okay, selection is confirmed by element being filled with color, and I can continue with selection of other panels. Now I have to press Control, plus sign appears, and then I click. So it's important to master this combination of tab key and Control and selection, so you don't, because when you unclick in some place random, you lose the selection. So remember that if you want to add something to the selection, press Control. I like changing the color of pre-selection and selection. So you see now both of them are blue. Let's change it to green. So I will go to File, Options, Colors, and here I have pre-selection color that I can change. So I will change it to green. Okay, so now you see when I hover my mouse over something, it highlights as green. When it's clicked, it's blue. It's a small change, I know, but I like to have this small customization when I work on my projects. So if you like it as well, File option is the place where you can change it. We covered the basics of selection. Now let's go into advanced settings. So when you select something, let's select something with a frame, maybe the entire project, you have something called filter. Filter is accessed through the ribbon and also in the corner. It also shows you how many elements is in the selection. If I click on this symbol, I have a list of categories with the number of count for each of them. So let's say I want to just select walls. I will say check none and select walls. Okay. Now only walls are selected. So in this way you can filter your selection pretty quickly. Another method of group selection is a tool called Select Similar. I will show you on the floor plan. You understand the difference between category and family and type, I hope. If not, refer to my other videos from this cycle. And now let's say we want to select all the walls that are of this wall timber clad type. When I select something using the frame tool, I can only select entire category, filter entire category. So I have walls, but they are not of this exact type. So I have multiple families selected, walls 20. Okay. So if I want to select all of those visible in the view or in the entire project, I select first one of them, right click, and say select all instances, and I have three options: visible in view, in entire project including legends. So first option of course refers to the level 1 floor plan that I'm currently in. So if I select visible in view, all of them are selected. Maybe chair would be even a more simple example. I select one of them, right click, select all instances, visible in view. Okay, so this is a very, very quick method if we want to, for example, modify those objects at once or delete them. So let's see. Oh, okay. We can quickly change it into other family if something appropriate is already loaded into the project. So remember that this option is under right click menu, select all instances. I don't think it's anywhere else on the ribbon. So it's not that obvious to find. Let's go back to the 3D view and I will show you some additional selection options. I know that it's a lot already, but it's very important to master that because selection is basically one of the most commonly used action in Revit, right? Let's focus on those 5 icons that are below ribbon. It says select links, select underlay elements, pinned elements, select by face, and drag elements on selection. So let's focus first on the most simple one and the one that it's actually one of the most important. It's select elements by face. So if it's checked, when I hover my mouse over a face, over a surface of this wall, I'm able to select it. Okay. If this option was unchecked, which is signified by this red cross next to this icon, I would have to now search for the edge of this element, which is not always that easy to find, in order to select it, you see? Okay. For me, 90% of the time, I have this option active. So the only situation I turn it off is when I work on the floor plan and I don't want to select big surfaces like this floor plan, focus more on these elements. Another thing is drag elements on selection. Let me give you an example. If this option is active, I can, with one click, select and drag this element, move this element. Okay, so I just like save a one click that it's not that I would have to do if this option was not checked. So if this option was turned off, I would have to click and then click and drag. Basically, I'm saving one click. This is like small optimization. So I have it turned off most of the time because it creates a problem, especially when you select something with frame. So let's say I wanna start drawing a frame here. You see, and I dragged this wall by mistake. So it may happen very often, and especially when you have combination of select by face and drag elements on selection both active. So I can, for example, try to move when I start to drawing a selection frame. You see, I have all those errors. So other stuff is selection pinned elements. So pinned elements, sometimes we don't want elements to move. So if we pin elements, every element in Revit can be pinned. And if this option is inactive, I will not be able to select this one. So sometimes when you can select something and you run out of options why you can't select it, it's maybe this option is just turned off, right? And the object is of course pinned. Other elements is like select underlay elements and select links. So underlay we will explain maybe later on this course, and links are linked models from other softwares like AutoCAD and Revit. So you also have option to not be able to select them and other way around. Okay, I usually access this option through this corner, but you have them copied also under modify. So you can uncheck also something from this list if you don't want to use this area. I know this tutorial was long, so I hope you stayed with me till the end. And if you want to learn more about Revit, visit my site revituni.com and visit my channel where you find more, I hope, interesting tutorials.